Welcome to the first in our In Conversation With series. I'd like to welcome Boston Group Chairman Richard Grainger.
Hello.
Thank you for being here.
It's a pleasure.
As mentioned in the introduction, you are Chairman of Boston Group. For those that don't know, please could you give us an overview of your roles and responsibilities as Chairman?
Okay. Well, my primary role is to set the agenda for the board, and then that includes obviously the strategy of the business. We meet every month, and we're obviously then sort of checking how the business is going on a monthly basis, but also against that overarching agenda and strategy.
Okay. Please could you give us an overview of your career, your first role, how you progressed to CEO of Close Brothers Corporate Finance, and then as chairman of another bit of businesses ranging from publicly listed to family businesses.
Okay, so I started off as an accountant post-university. I joined Pricewaterhouse as it was then. I then did 3 years in audit and 18 months in tax, and decided I didn't want to be an accountant.
Okay.
So I then joined a bank called Hill Samuel, and I joined their corporate finance team. I was based in London for most of it, although I did have an 18 month secondment to New York. Post Hill Samuel had been bought by TSB, then Lloyd's, and they sold their corporate finance team. I was one of the 4 people that signed the contract when we were sold to Close Brothers. So I was originally managing director in charge of leisure and retail. Eventually I got to chief executive of Close Brothers Corporate Finance. And I not only ran the business, but to me it felt important that I had to be close to clients. I liked clients, so I kept with clients as well. I was chief exec until 2007, and then chairman until 2009. By which time I'd got 2 non-executive directorships.
Okay.
Which sort of gave me the confidence to say, well, I could branch out. And I set up a little boutique corporate finance business, but I'd also, by that point, the 2 non-execs, one was for a private equity firm and one was for a public company. The public company one, the chairman left, and the other non-execs suggested that I should go to chairman. So I think I was the youngest chairman of a FTSE 250 or something at the time. I was 48, and that company was called Safe Store, which is a self-storage business. And the first of the private equity ones that I chaired was called IPES, which was in Guernsey. So I'd started this 2 routes of public company and then private equity backed. And over the years, as you said in the introduction, I'm sort of sector agnostic. I don't really care. There are things that I can't do. I won't do high tech and I won't do biotech.
Okay.
Because I can't second guess what a chief exec says if it's I want an A335 or something. So, but other sectors I'll have either audited or I've had clients in it somewhere on the line, so I think that I pretty much know. So I've chaired 12 companies now, and they range from pub and brewing to financial services to online technology, and they are companies that have been either public or private or family or startups. It really crosses across the whole range.
Yeah, and out of those, did you have one that you sort of sector that you found most interesting or was fun?
Well, because my background was in leisure and retail, which included pubs.
Yeah.
So I was chairman of something called Liberation, which is based in Jersey, and Guernsey. But the UK bit of that was called Buckham, and that was a pub and brewing business, and I thoroughly enjoyed my time there, as I have done with all my chairmanships.
Yeah, but that was probably
it was. I empathise with the product.
I like it. Yeah, and if you're on board with the product, it makes it a lot easier.
The other thing about pubs, everybody goes to pubs, so they always have a view on what you are doing.
Yeah, which I guess is good and bad. Can be quite tricky to have everyone's opinions.
Yeah, but most of them are constructive. Not always.
And just going back, did you know what you wanted to do when you were at school?
If you go back far enough, my father was a GP, and I think that I thought I was going to be a doctor, but my physics O level wasn't very good. And did I really? I was good at geography. I did a geography degree, and it's just a general social science qualification. And probably my second year at university, I knew I needed to do something that got me away from just geography. Accountancy at the time was one that a lot of graduates were going into. It was a general business qualification, so it was an introduction to that. So I don't think I've ever really thought my career plan, it's got to be this. No, it's not been that structured.
Yeah. And did you have any mentors that have sort of been influential throughout your career?
On the way through, my father was always influential, and then, he was a guy that I would always sort of bounce things off. As far as moving forward in life, there was always there'd be a partner at Price Waterhouse who I would have talked to, who actually was the partner who was in charge of rugby as well, which helped. So I spent a lot of time playing rugby at the time. And then moving further on, when you were in corporate finance, you always had somebody above you that you respected, and it was how you learnt from them rather than mentoring you. It's just actually watching them and how they operated was actually more important. And my wife's always been a useful mentor because she tells me exactly what she thinks I shouldn't have done.
Brilliant. I like it. It's obviously worked out well for you, and hindsight is a wonderful thing. But is there anything you would have done differently in terms of early opportunities?
I was very loyal to companies I worked for. So I worked for Hill Samuel / Close Brothers for 22 years, and I think the others may have moved around more than that. But that gave me the opportunity to progress within Close Brothers. I don't have regrets about my career. I've enjoyed every bit of it. There's not something that I've never moved because I didn't enjoy something. I moved because it was a reason to move. And so I don't have regrets about what I should or shouldn't have done. But as I said earlier on, I didn't have a master plan. It just happens.
Yeah, no, that sounds like it, and it has obviously worked well for you. What advice would you give to someone embarking on their early career or just starting out where they perhaps don't know what they want to do?
I think if you're not sure what you want to do, make sure you talk to as many people as you can about what they do, because you may pick up something that actually excites you or intrigues you. If you then have an idea and you think, well, this is something I might be interested in doing, again, talk to as many people, peers in particular of your own age group. But if you've got friends or who've got fathers or mothers in that sector, have a conversation. Everybody I know is very willing to give time up to younger people to say, this is what I did, or even just as you said about mentoring, to just sit and discuss. I don't think I know any of my friends who wouldn't give the time up to do that.
Yeah, and it's just making the most of that, and people with experience
ask as many questions as you possibly can.
Yeah, that sounds like good advice. Now moving back to Boston, what attracted you to the role as group chairman?
I've been quite, as I said, I was agnostic about what I did. But one thing that's been sort of consistent through has been the people. If I don't like the people and don't think I can work with them, then why would I bother? And with Boston, I found that in the senior team, and Catherine in particular. I think they're all exceptional. And it's great to, if you come to work with people that you enjoy working with, it makes a heck of a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And in your experience, is there one thing that successful companies have in common?
Success a lot of it comes through hard work, and that's normally goes down to the quality of the individuals who are driving the business. So but there's also luck, in a direction that you may have gone in could have accidentally been extraordinary. But most of it is to do with the people driving the business. If you've got really good people quality skills and people who are prepared to put the time and effort in, it normally works.
Yeah, makes sense. And what are you most proud of work-wise?
What am I most proud of? I think when you see a strategy that you've all talked about and it actually starts to deliver. And you can see, and the delivery of that is through the enjoyment. You see people in the workplace, but it's also just that actually the numbers start working, and it's strange because success suddenly actually it builds on itself, and it becomes much more. It's like a snowball. Once it starts rolling, it really does gather momentum. So to see that happen, and you've been part of setting that strategic direction, it's fulfilling.
And it makes that definitely. Outside of work, what are you most proud of?
What am I most proud of? My 4 daughters. Obviously, I would say that, but I am. And it's just they're range between 25 and 33, And their careers are all forming, and they've got partnerships, and one married, one engaged and getting married. The third's engaged as of last weekend.
Lovely.
So it's all go. I've got a new grandchild hopefully coming in December. So that, and our home life is very happy.
Yeah. Do they come to you for career advice?
And
do they listen to you?
I've had lots of conversations with my friends about this. It's much easier for me to have a conversation with their child than me to have it with my own.
Yeah.
And the directions they've gone in, I've got, at one point I had a doctor, one in the police force, one in the army, and a teacher.
Wow.
And all of those decisions, I was not involved in any of them.
Mm-hmm.
They had a conversation on a trade or with somebody, some friend or other, and that's what took them in the direction. The doctor always knew what she wanted to do.
Yeah.
But the others, it just sort of went and happened. As you were saying, how do you actually know where you're going to go? Mostly came from conversations, but not with me.
But not you, fair enough. And finally, if you had your time again, would you do anything differently?
I don't think so. We talked about this a minute ago. I don't think that there is anything that I don't have regrets about a decision I've taken about my career. A lot of it's opportunistic about where things happened. So regrets, no. I would, could I have worked harder? I don't think so. I think I've worked quite hard. Could I have listened to people more? Possibly. But you never know.
But yeah, and also working harder. You've got to strike a balance, though. You couldn't work yourself into the ground. You've obviously got 4 daughters. There's got to be work hard, but also a family life.
I think there's parts of our life with my wife. I wish I didn't work quite as hard as I did.
Yeah.
But and I think everybody has to get the balance right for themselves.
Yeah.
But no, I don't. Spending more time at home possibly. But as far as career-wise, no, I've thoroughly enjoyed every part of it.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, Richard.